Race 9 of the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series season brings us, for the first time, to Charlotte Motor Speedway, not to race on the oval, but to race around the Roval. 84 laps, 192 miles await the drivers of the IndyCar National Championship, 32 of them going to try to win here. A historic race, a historic day, a doubleheader weekend. World Series racing tomorrow from Mid-Ohio. It's Luisa Flores for the first time this season on pole position, the Night City podium sitter. Second place finisher in the third race of the season. She'll lead us to the green flag. It'll be all three Face For You teammates now that have had pole positions. Amara, Megalos, who's also got a race win, and Flores, who's got a second place as well under her name. The Greek squad has been dominating qualifying here in the Challenger Series. We'll go through the starting grid momentarily. But it's exciting to be here in Charlotte. Not a typical place we come to in the Champ Car circus. We'll be here twice. We'll be here both for the Challenger Series and for the World Series later this season. So a lot of excitement goes into a race here in Charlotte. The excitement's been palpable. It's been a very interesting weekend. Everyone's coming up to terms here with racing around the Roval. I think a lot of people are also, fairly just excited with how things have been going. Flores, in qualifying yesterday, set a lap time in qualifying. Currently, the track record here at the Roval, 60.339 to go on pole position. Obviously, all eyes in qualifying on who would go for pole position. Rachel Koivanemi qualified fourth, enters today with a 33-point advantage in the championship over Isabel Lantra. So let's go through the starting grid here in Charlotte. Row 1, Luisa Flores alongside Isabel Espinoza. The Escuria Guia car still looking for a win here this season. Asada Quito and Rachel Koivanemi sitting in row number 2. Both of them had their hands on a race win in Watkins Glen. Left begging due to fuel strategy concerns. Dale Blanco, Jace Clark, they sit in row number 3. Good recoveries after what was abysmal for them a week ago in Watkins Glen. It's an all-Swift Autosport for row 4 with Felicia Zappa out-qualifying Seth Smith Jr. 7th and 8th on the grid. Phoenix Motorsports wrapped up the top 10. Row 5 belongs to them. It's Lantra in 9th place ahead of Valerie Fang, who rounds out the top 10. Katrina Ochoa, Maria Damata sit in row number 6, and then you have Roberto Crown Jr. and Nara Takarasi sitting in row 7. Aspasia Megalos and Mia Vitsut, they sit in row number 8. Yuya Ishii alongside Rex Riley sit in row 9 for Yuya Ishii, enjoying first race in quite a long time, not having a grid drop penalty. No grid drop penalties at all in this race. So that's a first for the season since the season opener in Adelaide. The top 20 is earmarked by Sora Hoshino and Maria Chavez, who typically does well in qualifying, struggled yesterday, trying to put that 29 car in the field. 20th is where Chavez will start. Karina Amara and Arashi Seto sit in row 11. Row 12 is Sonia Walker and Natalia Kurachenko. Walker, one of only 2 drivers in the field that have experience at this racetrack, the other being Roberto Crown Jr. Jake Carter, Keisha Fox sit in row number 13. Row 14 is Katerina Malinkovic and Yumina Mizuno. Kira Moore, fast in practice, not fast though in qualifying. Starts row 15 alongside last week's race winner, Karina Sakurauchi, who will have to start this race from 30th on the grid. The 16th and final row is Amity Pulsatrix and Rika Venalainen. 32 cars in the field. A lot of work to do to get the 84 laps at the end of this race. It's time for those most famous forwards in motorsports to kick off festivities. Let's send it trackside here in Charlotte.
Drivers, start your engines!
We've had the Drivers' Parade, the National Anthem, and now the most famous words in motorsports, the command to fire engines for the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte. 32 cars will take on 84 laps here. This racetrack, this roval, is 2.28 miles. Seeing there Lantra in 10th, Clevinami starting in 4th. It will be a very interesting time period for this race to get on. See the full grandstands there. Turn 1, usually a pretty hectic place to be, as it has been in the AT&T Cup Series every time they've come down here. Packed house though for the first Champ Car race in Charlotte since all the way back in 1998. We raced on the oval back then. A lot around this racetrack has changed. Now it's racing on the roval. Into the first half of the season, rapidly approaching. The first half of the season comes to an end next week. Kentucky Speedway, another doubleheader. And it'll be the end of the first half of the season for the World Series as well. Race 10 for the Challenger Series, race 12 for the World Series. And the Challenger Series gets a very nice couple weeks off, and then we go to Nazareth Speedway for the Amazon US 225. That'll be the weekend, July 6th and 7th. The Challenger Series. The Champ Car World Series will be in Michigan for that event. So you won't see a lot of crossover between the two series on that weekend. You will see a lot of crossover in Fontana. The Challenger season will end in Atlanta. So a lot of teams will try to pack the field for a go at Auto Club Speedway. The series raced at Auto Club Speedway earlier this season as well, so they've got experience at that racetrack in how the aero configuration is going to work. But everyone's going to be focusing right now on 84 laps and a chance to win at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The green flag flies, and away we go into the final corner. You saw the rule change last week at Watkins Glen. Earlier starting zone used in effect here in Charlotte as well. Everyone rolling through the corners. That's teammates side by side. Oh, in trouble. Trouble immediately. That is Ishii. That is, I believe that is Ochoa. Caution will come out. Everyone trying to fit into a narrow space there. Slowed down there by Sonia Walker, but I believe Walker avoided that melee. Ishii got a huge chunk of it. I believe one of the yellower cars, there it is. That's the 35 of Vitsu, the Estonian, who is well off the pace at the moment, trying to stay out of the way. As the field collects itself, the lights on the grandstand showing that they are racing to the caution. Part of the reason that they moved the starting zone to this point right here, right before the final corner, was to give drivers a chance to thin out and go single file before they got to turn 2. And it worked to a degree. It's not for everybody. Ochoa getting spun around as Vitsu makes her way down to pit lane. Ford after pace car will catch up here. So let's go back to the opening lap here. This is as it was, side by side. And we'll see if we can get this in slow motion here. It's just a clip of the inside wall. Yeah, clip of the inside wall for Ochoa, trying to give D'Amato space. Ultimately, too much space there. A little bit of contact. I believe that's Takarasi. Oh, no, it's Vitsu that gets a huge clobbering of it. Takarasi checked up pretty well. Riley checks up a decent amount, but Ishii unsighted. Clobbers the 27 as well. I believe that's right in front of one of the team software cars, it looks like that is Hoshino that was having to check up there a decent amount. You see Sonia Walker able to check up and avoid all of that melee, as Luisa Floros got the jump on Espinoza. Back to real time. Pit lane will be open. Primary tires. Don't expect too many takers on this opening lap. They did get a full lap of racing in. Racing to the caution to end lap 1. A lot of the work that's been done to Charlotte Motor Speedway over the years, especially they're going up, approaching the grandstands there out of turn 4. So drivers coming in. That is going to be Koivaneni from 4th on the grid. The points leader comes down early. Early stop there for Koivaneni, and I believe one of the only takers at the moment. Obviously some more further back who may have gotten a piece of that incident in turn 2. Hoshino there, Keisha Fox, I believe that is Jake Carter coming down pit lane as well. But not many faces in the crowd, and you see one of the faces staying out there. That is Veetsuit, who came down pit lane under yellow before pit lane was open. So I'm assuming that Veetsuit will end up being at the back of the field here. Coming around. There's Ishii leaving pit lane. So they're going to try to do some work on the 27 of Showa and try to get that car back out on track as well. See the damage there. You saw the damage on the 72 of Rex Riley, so there was some damage on that 72 car that they did not come down to repair. They're going to try to deal with it. And there's Ochoa on the racetrack, so it's going to give us 32 cars still on the racetrack, and all of them on the lead lap. Intriguingly, is how it's going to set up. It's going to be Luisa Floros, Isabel Espinoza, Asada Quito, and Dale Blanco. And I believe they're going to move Mia Veetsuit to the back of the field for pitting under a closed pit lane. All 32 cars still running under caution for the first time for a wreck on lap 1 in turn 2, caused by Katrina Ocella flipping the wall on the entry to turn 2, going into a spin and collecting several others, including Riley, Veetsuit, Ishii, and more. Coming, I believe, to 1 lap to green here in Charlotte. And remember, we're going through the restart zone here that goes red, that approaches the last corners here. Single file should not be as much of an issue now, though expect some drivers to try to get a decent lunge through that chicane going to the start finish line. You cannot make passes before the start finish line. However, you can set them up and get alongside them approaching the start finish line, and then try to squeeze your way through before turn 1. So some cleanup work still being done. So we'll go around another lap here under caution. Lights still on that Ford Raptor pace truck. Helps out the fuel numbers a little bit. This is going to be a pretty easy two-stop race. Still looks like it could be. Trying to save some fuel to get potentially to a one-stop race. You have to get to about lap 42 if you're going to do that. And this track poses challenges a little bit different than Watkins Glen did. Watkins Glen, a longer racetrack, 2.45 miles. Obviously, the laps a little bit shorter, 78 laps there. This track, though, a lot more medium and low speed, a lot of acceleration. Instead of relying on a lot of top end speed. A lot more technical. Tires wear out a lot more as well, which will be a big factor in this race. I see the heavy braking is going to be a factor too. Several heavy braking zones. This is one of them. Getting to this backstretch chicane, the first of two in quick succession too. I'll show some really good thing in the background there. Normally they have turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 marked as the oval corners. Repainted them for this race, turn 13 and then turn 14 they're rolling through right now. And you're going to see that paint coming up here as well. Turn 14, oval turn 4, and then the chicane, turns 15 and 16, part of the 16 corner racetrack. Lights still on the pace car this time by, so must be some extensive cleanup work being done right now. Fuel is caught up here, so looks like extensive work being done, cleanup work being done. Of course, that they're sweeping off some carbon fiber and rubber debris from what was Vitsu's car as Vitsu was rolling around the racetrack trying to get back to pit lane. So they were trying to take care of all of that. So hence the extended yellow flag period. Fans in the grandstands here in Charlotte. A lot of fans in the camping area. Just over turns 1 and 2. Really good viewing vantage point here, especially for the oval as they soar through here at 180 miles an hour for the World 600. Another part of the breaking news that came out during the week. 2025 AT&T Cup Series calendar was revealed for the first time since the 70s. We'll have the Indianapolis 500 and the World 600 sharing the same weekend. Our 36 race calendar. Horizon Corporation managing the series. that kicks off with Speed Weeks, February 8th. But it was a shootout. And that'll all be right here on ABN. A lot of fun seeing that series come back to life here. Lights out on the pace tracks. They are happy with the condition of the racetrack. The track sweepers have cleared all of the carbon fiber bits and any other harmful debris items that could puncture tires. They've cleared the entire racetrack of that. They've checked the wall. Obviously, you see the skid marks where Ochoa tagged the wall extremely hard. Make sure the wall was still intact and had good integrity, because that's just concrete. There's no safer barrier there. Everything looks good and ready to go. These tires are going to be ice cold on the start. 50 miles an hour. The pace speed here in Charlotte. Pit speed 37 miles an hour. So these drivers are chomping at the bit to try to have a chance to go back racing. Floros has led every lap so far. It's not really been much of a chance to compete for Isabel Espinosa. Center of your screen, that 26 Royal Crown machine. So it's Floros, Espinosa, Quito, and Del Blanco. Your top four. Jace Clark up to 5th. Then it's Seth Smith Jr. around Felicia Zappa. Those two swap positions. Valerie Fang, Isabel Lantra, and Maria D'Amata, your top 10 as things stand. Single file restart up and coming. Drivers getting ready to go back racing. All 32 cars still running, which is surprising given the contact that Katrina Ochoa withstood on lap 1. And we saw the damage done to Mia Vitsut's car. We saw the damage being carried by the 72 of Rex Riley as well, and the 44 of Yu Ishii. They feel safe to continue. They didn't automatically retire from this race. They're going to try to keep going. Keep an eye on them as this race progresses. Championship leader Rachel Koivanami down in 23rd, taking an early stop for tires. We'll see how that pays off for the 61 crew. The pace car pulls in into the restart zone we go, and you see everyone immediately get ready to go racing. Green flag out in the air, and with aggression we go. Into turn 1 once again. And it's a rocket ship of a restart there. Teammates side by side. Car in the wall for the behind. That was Arashi Seto put in the wall. I believe that was by Maria Chavez. And that was in turn 2, out of the exit of turn 2. That track really tightens up when you first enter the Roval. Seto still rolling though, only lost a couple spots. Keep an eye on if that 52 has any lingering issues. Here comes Espacio Megalos to the inside of the Brazilian, Maria D'Amata. Into the braking zone. Turn 11. Final hold station. Fantastic stuff so far. Everyone taking different lines to the chicane as well. That last chicane. You gotta be careful not to cut too much of the chicanes, both the backstretch chicane and the last corner. They will penalize you. Make you serve a drive-through if you cut it too aggressively. Chavez after a little bit of contact there with Arashi Seto. Chavez up to the 14th position right now, behind Nara Takarasi. Isabel Elantra struggling to keep touch with her teammate there, Valerie Fang. Going into the chicane here. F1 hard on the brakes there. A lot of heavy braking. Some pretty fast speeds being put down here. That is Alicia Zappa looking to the inside of teammates there. Whoa! Cars coming down pit lane now all of a sudden. And it's a lot of them. That is Floros in pit lane from the lead of the race. As well as Clark, Zappa, and Fang. And there's more. That is Seto. That is Kurachenko. There's a lot of cars down pit lane. Something's happened. There's got to be some debris still on the racetrack. For them to come down pit lane en masse, a lot of cars must have hit something on the racetrack because they've all come down pit lane. It gives the lead of the race to Isabel Espinoza. Cars rolling on the racetrack, and it was 4-tire stops for everybody here. Some work being done. I believe that was that's the 55 of Carter, I do believe. Yeah, it is the 55 of Carter. So this gives Isabel Espinoza the race lead ahead of Asada Quito and Del Blanco, the other Crystal Cove racing cars. Carter comes out of pit lane. Blanco sits third now on the podium. And there he is, exiting pit lane, right ahead of the race leaders, now trying to stay on the lead lap. Remember, Carter was also involved in that lap 1 caution as well. Spent some time in pit lane the first go around. Him and Keisha Fox both came down pit lane twice, once under caution and once under that last exchange. Puts 30 air on the nose of Espinoza, who is hoping to have some clean real estate with the pit stop there from Floros, but that will not be the case. Everyone's struggling now. See a lot of cars coming down together here. This is Riley and Walker side by side to turn 2. It is possible. It can be done. I see the veteran Walker there, knowing kind of how turn 2 goes, having raced at this version of the racetrack before. Espinoza, Quito nose to tail. Carter pulling away, fresher tires now at this point. Hopefully they fix whatever problem it is that they had. Rolling through the infield, the very undulating infield. Not very many Rovals have the elevation change like Charlotte does. Charlotte has been a lot of fun to watch over the years. Espinoza still leading the way. It's a very small group here, as Quito had a struggling time there through the bus stop, or through the backstretch chicane that time around. Because Blanco's now right on his gearbox. There's Seth Smith Jr. And then Isabel Elantra up to the top 5 as things currently run. Roberto Crown Jr. up in 6th ahead of his teammate Maria Damata. And then you have Espacio Megalos. There's the 57 of Nera Takarasi, trying to stay ahead of Maria Chavez, who has moved into the top 10. Getting a good result after a couple bad races between New Hampshire and Watkins Glen. Chavez into this race having dropped from being within a reasonable 30 points to being 68 points away from Koivanemi. Needing to gain a lot on the points leader here. Koivanemi already up to 16th with the cycle of pit stops that we saw there. There's Koivanemi. Sitting a little bit adrift of Kira Moore, who was fast in practice. Now sitting 15th on the racetrack with some real estate. Rika Venäläinen also looked quick. Remember, Rika Venäläinen started this race dead last, 32nd. Venäläinen already to 15th. That's 17 spots gained for the Finnish driver. See, Quito has put a solid distance between himself and Del Blanco here. completing lap 12 onto now lap 13. We had caution for about 5 laps. Been racing since the start of lap 7. So Espinosa trying to find a race win. Last one at Belle Isle in the World Series. That was back in 2020. So it's been a while for Espinosa to get back to victory lane. We have top stuff on the podium. Quito has never won a Champ Car competition after being the GP1 champion in 2021. Moved over, raced for 3 years with the Obsidian Racing team, the team that he won the GP1 championship with. Left Obsidian as they picked up on Riikka Venäläinen and Bianca Lucero. He got picked up by Verizon Team Impulse. And now he's in a pretty good category right now. Didn't obviously have a great race last time out at Watkins Glen. It's outside the top 10 in points. But he's been a factor more often than not. Was a factor in last week's race in Watkins Glen. Ran out of fuel. If you're consistently one of those cars at the front of the field, eventually something's going to fall your way. We're seeing that right now as Carter now under threat. Damage now very prevalent here, and here it goes side by side. Espinosa got checked up. Quito took a look at it on the exit of the chicane out of turn 12. Didn't have any dice there. Now rolling into turns 15 and 16, this last chicane on the lap. Jake Carter could be Quito's chance to break into the race lead. Qualifying lap times at about the 60-second range. Race lap times here a little more respectable. It's in about the 1:06 range. A lot more respectable as far as lap times are concerned. Not everyone going full bore. Four cars in this tilt between Espinosa, Quito, Blanco, the third place car there for Cove Racing, who I believe Carter's trying to help a little bit, and then the 5 of Seth Smith Jr. for Swift Autosport, who's also been in the mix more than one occasion this season. Carter really checking up the race leader here. Quito's going to have a really strong look into turn 1. Usually this favors where Espinosa's sitting right now, but Quito held on to it. All 4 of them now on a blanket. And don't forget, Isabel Lantra not far behind. Trying to close in on this group. So is the Black Rose Racing teammates there of Roberto Crown Jr. and Maria D'Amata. So the racing continues on here. Now on lap 16 at 84. Top right of your screen. As I mentioned, all 32 cars still running. Jake Carter 32nd and last, and has been a factor in this lead battle for several laps now. Carter was one of those involved in the lap 1 crash. Quito backing up a little bit, trying to create another run. Kind of what Espinosa's doing with Jake Carter, trying to find another run to time how she approaches the 55 to try to pass him going into one of the heavy braking zones, whether it's into turn 15, whether it's into turn 10. Trying to find a way around here. A little further behind, this is for 18th. Katrina Ochoa has gotten around Luisa Flores for 18th place. Flores, who led 7 laps of this race early on before needing to make a pit stop for some reason. We've not gotten a clear explanation why yet. Loros now down in the 19th position. Koivanami's up to 15th, having gotten around Kira Moore. There's a lot of battling throughout the field at the moment. As you just browse and peruse, there you go. There's the 61 of Koivanami. And there's been more pit stops. Significantly more pit stops. Because Moore is one of those, oh. Yeah, that's a caution. So Jake Carter stays on the lead lap. Isabel Espinosa is the race leader that they'll pick up for the second time today. And that might be what happened to Kira Moore. Just try to find some answers on this. That's Kira Moore. Oh, and that's just a stop car. That's just Moore coming to a stop in the middle of the racetrack. That's not a crash. That's just a loss of complete power, and obviously cars going by there. That's a heavy traffic area. Caution has to be thrown. So they'll retrieve that car and neutralize the field in the process. So the field will reset. And everyone that came down pit lane after hitting debris earlier has a chance to reset now, including Jake Carter, who stayed on the lead lap. And this time I would expect that a lot of cars will come down pit lane together. Down pit lane this time, which is what we were forecasting as we approach lap 20 in this race. So the field will come down pit lane together. Cars coming down pit lane together. Basically, the entire field just came down pit lane, so this is going to be a very busy pit lane. That was trouble for Del Blanco, who had trouble getting out of his box. Oh, he spun completely coming out of his box. That's trouble for the 56. They have to try to get that car refired. The cars leaving pit lane together. Blanco in significant trouble. He was sitting third on the road. Bad run for Lantra as well, who ends up back to the field. They did get Blanco refired, thankfully. Roberto Crown Jr. still in pit lane, though, as they try to get that car taken care of. So a couple of cars that were, several of the top 5 cars, no longer in those positions. Isabel Espinosa, Seth Smith Jr. now first and second. Asada Quito lost a spot on pit lane, but not bad considering the alternative. Then it's Espacio Megalos. There is the 23, Yumina Mizuno. Rika Venalainen. There is Katerina Milenkovic, Nara Takarasi. There is, I believe that is the 4. It is the 4. The Asian Airlines number 4 of Karina Amara. Ria Damata. Ria Ishii. who seems to be okay after having that accident on lap 1, tagging quite harshly the 29 of Katrina Ochoa. Ishii sitting ahead of Maria Chavez. There's Rachel Clavanemi ahead of Katrina Ochoa. And then you have Keisha Fox, Amity Pulsatrix. There is Mia Veetsuit. And the 75 of Luisa Flores, the pole sitter. Deep in the field. Taya Kurachenko, Jace Clark, Felicia Zappa, Arashi Seto. There's the 12 of Karina Sakurauchi, last week's race winner in Watkins Glen. Rex Riley, Valerie Fang, Sonia Walker, Isabel Lantra, Sora Hoshino, and the teammates together, Jake Carter ahead of his teammate, Dale Blanco. Not where the Coastal Cove cars wanted to be. A car still in pit lane, as looks like another trip down pit lane. That is for Asada Quito, who's coming down pit lane again. Not sure what's going on here. Crown's now a lap down officially, and Quito also back in pit lane. They had to check something. No tires changed on that exchange. They didn't fix tires or anything, so Quito now moves to the back of the field as we sit under caution again. Second time tonight. Seeing the caution for the second time today for an issue with Kira Moore, who is officially out of the race. Roberto Crown and Asada Quito are both back out on the racetrack there, tail end of the field. So his 31 car is still rolling. Up on the pace trucks means we have one more lap of caution here. These drivers are ready to get back out and rolling. We had a really good run there after that first caution. Now everyone's reset and ready to go for the second restart here. It is Isabel Espinosa, Seth Smith Jr., Espacio Megalos, Yumina Mizuno, and Rika Venalainen. Your top five here as we approach the second restart of the day. Several different lap leaders. Isabel Espinosa's led 14 laps. Luisa Flores, the pole sitter, led 7 to kick off this race. When retirement, Kira Moore out with a gearbox failure. That is what has been diagnosed in the 67 camp. And there's another cloud of smoke in the back. That is Sonia Walker. So one mechanical issue leads to another. As Walker tries to drop out of the way and come down pit lane. Ooh. Instead of going to pull to a stop there in the bus stop. Everyone's out of the way. Try to get that car out of the way as well. With Isabel Espinosa leading the way. Sonia Walker will likely join. The smallest retirements green flag flies in the Bank of America Grand Prix at Charlotte is back underway. Okay, turn one. At speed, Isabel Espinosa now on the run from Seth Smith Jr. Further back in the field, Roberto Crown Jr. back in the field, but everyone has made it through the opening turn safely, side by side. Several cars go through the infield this time. That is Sakurachi, one of them, trying to get around. Rex Riley couldn't do so. Got checked up there, but stays ahead of Isabel Lantra. Meanwhile, Jace Clark finding a way around. I believe that was Mia Vitsu. It was Vitsu that got passed by several cars. Clark, Zappa, Seto, and the 72 of Rex Riley. And Vitsu actually is struggling pretty mightily here, being passed by several cars. Everyone trying to find a way around the 35, who is obviously still struggling with some of the pace issues that we saw earlier from Mia Vitsu. Obviously, Vitsu involved in that lap 1 crash. That had several other cars in it. Vitsu got one of the heavier hits, and now has completely dropped to the back of the field. This is teammates battling Fang in the black and blue machine, that 54 car. Battling teammate Isabel Lantra and winning that battle out, because here comes Sora Hoshino around as well. So Lantra drops more spots as Hoshino tries to find a way forward. Really good look there, side by side. The braking zone. This is where you see, whoa, trouble, spin. Is that going to be a caution? Several cars around, and it is going to be a caution. Third caution, contact. I believe that was one of the Crystal Cove cars. May have been Jake Carter on the back end of Isabel Lantra, spun those two around and triggered this caution. To go back and take a look at this, Lantra was losing several spots in succession. All checks up here. This is where Hoshino and Fang went side by side, and I believe that is going to be the 55 of Carter. It is 55 of Carter that just jams right into the back of Isabel Lantra. Teammates there. 56 also trying to avoid that, and then Masada Kito also trying to play the avoiding action game. That's where the caution comes out. So caution is out for the third time today here in Charlotte. But we're under caution here. We are going to take a second. Now that we know we've got several laps here, we're going to take a second to step away for word from our local partners and their supporters. Don't go anywhere. The Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte comes back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte here. We're under caution for the third time today. So pace car rolling into the final chicane here. Stepped aside for a commercial break for our local partners here. And in the process, we've had a list of retirements come through in this race. Valerie Fang retiring from this race due to an engine failure happening under caution there. Asada Kito being pulled behind the wall for a coolant leak out of this race, the 22 car. Remember, he came down pit lane, had a couple times down pit lane under the last caution, moved to the back of the field, ended up having to come down pit lane again, where they discovered the coolant leak and retired that car. The coolant leak from the side pods, the radiator grills on the side pods of these cars. Asada Kito out of this race. Jake Carter out as well. He is out with a suspension failure related to his brakes on the front end. Jake Carter had a little bit of damage early on in this race. Sonia Walker also fell out of this race, due to an oil leak as well. So only one engine failure so far in this race, being Valerie Fang. Everyone else having a load of mechanical issues, though, that we did not see. And you think about what the coolant issues, the oil issues, a lot of the wiring and everything goes to the side pods. If they ran through debris like they did for that first caution, especially when we had that multi-car accident, a lot of carbon fiber can get picked up in the side pods. It can cause damage to the radiator grills, to the oil lines that sort of run and connect everything together. A lot of connected stuff there. Jake Carter, obviously he fell out of the race due with a suspension issue. That's something that can be caused by the catching of debris. This is not a very easy racetrack, very demanding racetrack here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that's something that could have been exacerbated as time went along. We're 28 laps into this race. We've had a very healthy amount of these laps under green. Third caution of the race, though, under caution this time. I believe we're coming to 1 lap to green this go around. And it is Seth Smith Jr. leading the race. 3 different lead changers so far. Most laps led set by Isabel Espinoza, who came down pit lane under this caution. So it is Seth Smith Jr., Aspasia Megalos, Rika Venäläinen, Katerina Milenkovic, and Nara Takarasi, your top 5. Karina Amara, top 6. Then it's Maria Damata, Maria Chavez, Rachel Klevenamy, and Amity Polstrix, your top 10. Luisa Flores, the pole sitter, sits in 11th place. As we all wait in expectation to get this race underway once again. Ford Raptor pace truck getting its miles in at the front of the field for our 3rd caution of the race. For a multi-car incident in the bus stop there that involved Isabel Lantra, Del Blanco, Jake Carter, as we mentioned, Asada Quito. Several cars involved in that. A couple of those cars now out of this race as well. Lights are out on the pace truck, which means we're going back racing here to start lap 30. Everyone tuning in to ABN Sports coverage of the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte, the IndyCar National Championship, the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series, all season long right here on ABN. Seth Smith Jr. now in control of this race lead. We'll see what he can do with it. Camyron turns 13 and 14. Get ready to approach the restart zone. Seth Smith Jr. will have control of the race lead. 5 cars out, 27 cars still rolling As the pace truck pulls in, to the restart zone we go. Green flag flies, and Seth Smith Jr. early on that launch, trying to get a good breakaway from Megalos. Been a line in third. Milinkovic fourth. Side by side, that is Keisha Fox alongside Del Blanco behind Miavitsu. Further up the field, that is Sakurauchi trying to get around Isabel Espinoza. Espinoza finds her way around the 12 car, trying to move back up the field. Back onto the oval here. Sending it in pretty deep into the bus stop here. Keep an eye on what's going on here with the 35 of Vitsu and the 62 of Fox. Everyone trying to find their way around the 35, and they will. There is a black flag for Vitsu. So I think Vitsu is going to be one of those coming down pit lane. Indeed, Vitsu coming down pit lane. That may be a mechanical thing. We saw how off pace Vitsu was. We don't know if it was just a penalty flag or if it was a mechanical flag. The mechanical flag, it's a black flag with an orange dot in the middle. A penalty flag is just a black flag, and disqualification is black and white. Not to be confused with the checkered flag. The checkered flag is black and white checkered pattern. Disqualification flag is black and white, separated with a hash mark down the middle. You don't see those very often. Vitsuto came down pit lane and leading pit lane now, so it wasn't disqualification. But Vitsu back out on track here. Seth Smith Jr., though, on his own, front of the field. Rika Venäläinen tried to get second place, drove too deep, though, into the chicane. And here comes Katerina Milinkovic looking for third. Side by side for a couple of cars here. That is Amara trying to find a way around Takarasi as well. Amara on the charge. Just not good enough so far to get around the Slovenian driver, the former Indy 500 champion. There's Maria Damata in the mix as well. And Milinkovic now firmly had the door shut on in the infield by Venäläinen. Top three now separated by a pretty decent margin. Milinkovic still going to try to find a way around. A lot of slipstream here for Milinkovic. Down the back straightaway into turn number 10. Nothing going there. Side by side, a little bit of contact, a little bit of more contact, and that is the points leader taken out by Luisa Floros. Bedlam in the bus stop. Huge calamity. Everyone's going to try to get through it. The chicane all in one piece. Oh my goodness. This will not be pleasant. However they happen to go through this. Oh, here we go. Oh. There was no way that was going to work, and Koivuniemen got collected again. And caution, if it wasn't known before, caution is pretty firmly out. For the fourth time today. Ishii coming down pit lane. Some pretty hurt feelings in that exchange. I would not hazard to take a guess on that one. So a lot to kind of go over there in all of this. Side by side here, this is Floros and Koivuniemen. Koivuniemen got around Floros there. Pretty said and done. Trying to follow along with how this all broke down. And Chavez just ahead. early on this or not. Check here. I believe we're a lap ahead on this one. So it's this lap here. Things get a little bit rough. Yeah, this is the side-by-side battles are right here. Because this is where everyone kind of checks up a little bit. Because it's a two-prong incident. Commentator now in the mix, as is Floros, as is Rex Riley, and everyone that's just behind. Pretty close group. Commentator gets an okay run. It's not wild. And then side by side there. Oh, it's just Chavez checked up because of the contact with Floros, and then Floros just missed the wall, missed the turn completely. And several cars go off in response there. Several cars, I think hopped the curb is I think where all this sort of came to be. But then you see this melee. And this is nothing but a melee. That is just not going to fit. This is just not going to fit in any shape or form. Because it's already going to be tight there between Floros and Koivanemi. That is Crown, that is Riley, that is Ochoa. Just clobbers Koivanemi, clobbers Floros, who goes, I think, almost nose first into the wall. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Considered a caution for the fourth time today in what has turned into a very messy first race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. It is Katerina Milinkovic now leading the way over Karina Amara, Maria Damata, Emily Polstrix, and Seth Smith Jr. top 5 as things currently run. Keep an eye on that 4-car. Amara looked really strong, trying to charge through the field, but so did Milinkovic, to her credit. As we get ready to go back racing, we'll step aside for 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere. The Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte returns right after this. Welcome back to the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte. We're getting ready to go back racing after our fourth caution of the race. It is Katerina Milinkovic leading the way over Karina Amara, Maria Damata, Emily Polstrix, and Natalia Kurachenko, your top 5 in this race. We've had several cars drop out of this event. None, though, on the last caution. Valerie Fain, the last retirement 10 laps ago, along with Asada Quito, Jake Carter, also among those in the retirement queue. Sonia Walker and Kira Moore also out of this race as well. 27 cars still rolling in this event. It has been a frantic race here in Charlotte. It's set to potentially be even more frantic as this race progresses. Will lead us to green here. Ford Raptor pace car. We will kick off lap 38 here in Charlotte. We've had 4 cautions in this race so far for a variety of issues, whether it's been incidents, whether it's been reliability issues, car stopped on track. Obviously with Kira Moore's situation, the car stopped on track with gearbox failure. Moore became our first time of the race, so not a great time period. Not a great way to kick off June if you're the 67 crew for Frostfire Racing. Milinkovic looking for a second win of the season. We've not had a repeat winner so far this year in the Champ Car Challenger Series. And the green flag flies. Milinkovic has the pressure to try to go for that second win. They all roll through turns 1 and 2. Side by side, that is Takarasi and Ishii. Once again, everyone gets through turns 1 and 2 cleanly. It is now the backstretch chicane, turns 9 through 12, where you see most of the calamity. Top 3 splitting away just a little bit from the rest of the group. Milinkovic, Amara, and D'Amata. As the field goes side by side a little bit further back here, trying to go for pass. This is Espinoza trying to get around Arashi Seto for the 6th spot. There is Maria Chavez also just in the mix there. Cars going to be down pit lane. They had a penalty for unsafe pit entries. See a bunch of them coming down pit lane. That is Ochoa, that is Riley. Among those coming down pit lane, Hoshino, Blanco, Lantra, Mizuno, Sakurauchi, Koivanemi, and Crown racing and making passes in pit lane. And safe pit entries for all of them. So they are serving their penalty. Does not affect anyone at the front of the field, though, as Amara's taken the lead away from Milinkovic. Milinkovic led at the line that last lap, but now it's in the hands of Karina Amara. Amara's teammate Espacio Megalos, already a race winner this season. Luisa Floros, the 3rd car for Faceporia, started on pole position. Amara trying to join the first-time winners club. Got around Milinkovic. Now going to try to pull away here. See all the skid marks around the racetrack. It has been a wild race. As Amara comes around turns 1 and 2. Car coming out of pit lane. That is the 27 of Katrina Ochoa. Who's about to go a lap down here. Coming back out on track already. Ochoa seemed to have something different going on as well. Stopping took service, which prolonged that stop on pit lane, and it slows down Amara as well. Crossing start finish line here. And there's Rex Riley coming back out of pit lane. Side by side, here comes D'Amata. battling with Milinkovic and gets ahead of Milinkovic too. So D'Amata up to second place, a Champ Car World Series race winner. Texas last year. Trying to become the first driver to win in both the World Series and the National Series. Last time a driver won in both the World Championship and the National Championship, it was obviously some of the greater drivers in Champ Car racing, former world champions in their complete right. Rita Lectie, Miguel Espinoza, a little bit of contact there. Here comes Amity Polsatrix, battling for that second spot. Meanwhile, there's the other striker car, Natalia Kurachenko, who's been quiet this season. Now Kurachenko's in the mix, having gotten around Milinkovic. Everyone tiptoeing. Here we go. A little bit almost contact there between D'Amata and Amara. Amara trying to hold on to the race lead. D'Amata trying to take it away. Ochoa a little bit too far away now to have a sincere effect on this battle. D'Amata, though, on the charge, as is Polsatrix, sitting in third. Huge drafting opportunity down towards the bus stop here. A little bit further back, saw a battle there. That is Venäläinen and Zappa, the 87 and the 50. Racing side by side into the chicane, turns 15 and 16 coming up. Typically do not want to be sitting side by side through this chicane. Venäläinen has the advantage and will take that position. That's for the 13th position. You see a little bit further back, that is Rachel Koivunieemi in 15th. Everyone catching right back up to Ochoa. Mara going to try to find a way around the 27. Two cars a lap down. Actually, I have to stand corrected. Koivunieemi is not sitting in the 15th position. Koivunieemi is a lap down in 26th at the moment. So Koivunieemi needing a lot of work to happen in order to get back on the lead lap here, or just to gain positions, really. In there, Amara sending it over the curves in that chicane. D'Amata going to look to the inside once again through turn one. Amara has the defensive line through turn two. Oh, this is going to be close. Can D'Amata get clear? No. Oh, sends it wide. Still trying to drive around the outside of Amara and will take that position. New race leader, Maria D'Amata. On to the point. This has been a race where a lot of your top 10 in points have had a lot of struggles. Koivunieemi sitting 26th. Lantra right now sitting in the 23rd position. Second place in points. Jake Carter out, classified 30th. Katerina Milinkovic in top 5, but entered this race 46 points behind. Without a race win, won't gain on Koivunieemi, or won't gain enough to take the championship lead away from Koivunieemi. Kira Moore, 32nd out of this race. Takarasi, 66 points behind, entering this race. Takarasi is in the 11th spot. Maria Chavez, 68 points behind, needs a good result right now, sitting top 10 and 8th. Felicia Zappa entered this race 9th in points, 70 behind though. And right now battling with Riikka Venäläinen, who's also top 10 in points, 10th in points. They're battling for the 13th position at the moment. So a good chance for a lot of these drivers to close in at the front of the field, including Damata and Amara. There's Amity Polstrix as well. And Ty Kurachenko under threat from her teammate Milinkovic. 4th and 5th for the striker cars at the moment. Ahead of Arashi Seto, Isabel Espinoza, Jace Clark. All immediate threats. Showing now in the way for Damata, who's opened a pretty decent gap to the 4 of Amara. And Damata sitting at about 7/10 the gap right now. Held up by the 27, who is wounded from that lap 1 crash, just kind of sticking it out, trying to hold on to points here. Ochoa 25th right now in the race, last car on lead lap. Leads this race at the moment. C being held up by Ochoa is allowing Amara and Polstrix and company to close back in just a little bit. Several different race leaders in this race. Seth Smith Jr., Luisa Floros, Isabel Espinoza, Katerina Milinkovic, Karina Amara, now Maria Damata, most recent race leader, trying to find a way around, being held up in the braking zone to the bus stop. And Ochoa being a heavy deterrent right now. Through turn 14, approaching turns 15 and 16. Damata's got to try to find a way around the 27 before one of the 3 behind peek their heads around. Checkup that it caused to Damata, it allowed Ochoa another space of reprieve. Roll through the infield here. Racing pretty hard now. There's Rashi Seto in the mix as well, behind Milinkovic. Ahead of Isabel Espinoza, Jace Clark in 8th, 9th, Keisha Fox. And 10th, Maria Chavez is how things says. Chavez dropped 2 spots from 8th to 10th so far. There's Megalos in 11th, Nara Takarasi in 12th, and Felicia Zappa 13th. Rika Venelainen sitting in the 14th spot. Ahead of Rachel Koivanemi, who's 26th on the road. Seth Smith Jr. 15th. There's Floros in 16th, very distant. Miyavitsu 17th. 18th, Dale Blanco. 19th, Yumina Mizuno. Circle all the way back to the race leader here. Once again, closing in on Ochoa. this little battle here going on. Pulsar trying to get around Amara into the chicane. Close. And Pulsar does get through for second place. So Amara now falling backwards a little bit. See the lights out on the pace car. We saw some smoke in the corner in that bus stop. Trying to figure out who it's from. This for 1 second, try to figure out. Maybe this is just sort of grab the pace car real quick. When does the pace car lights come on? And we'll take a look at who's where on the racetrack. Lights come on the pace car and everything here. So let's go ahead and take a track backwards, and there you go. We thought Lantra was one of the cars involved. It is Ishii, Roberto Crown Jr., that Centos car, bottom of your screen. There's Lantra, and there's Sora Hoshino, the 09 machine. So 4 cars involved. Let's take a look. Let's take a spin backwards here. This is everyone trying to get around Ishii, Hoshino, and Roberto Crown. Oh, there's a lot of contact there, and Lantra just kind of sends it in on the 4 of them. Our car stacked it up there in the bus stop. Puts us under our 5th caution of the night. Maria D'Amata leads. Huge break for Katrina Ochoa, who once again stays on the lead lap. But we're under our 5th caution of the night here in Charlotte. We'll step aside as the caution proceeds. Give a word from our local partners. This is the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte, right here on ABN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte. Getting ready to go back racing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Results running at the top of your screen as they run so far. It's Katerina Milinkovic, Karina Amara, Natalia Kurachenko, Maria D'Amata, and Isabel Espinoza running in the top of the field at the moment as things currently run. So only 5 cars out of this race. However, more cars went a lap down. Under caution, getting repair work done. Instead of trying to stay on the lap, they just kind of took their lumps and went a lap down. Mia Vitsu, one of those cars. Yumina Mizuno, Isabel Lantra, Roberto Crown Jr., Karina Sakurauchi, Katrina Ochoa, Del Blanco, Sora Hoshino. They all went a lap down. Trying to get repair work done. All of those are cars that were involved in caution so far throughout this race today. So in front of the field, it is Milinkovic, Amara, Kurachenko, D'Amata, and Espinoza. Everyone but Kurachenko in the top 5 is led laps. Chase Clark at 6th, Keisha Fox 7th, Aspasia Megalos 8th, Maria Chavez 9th, Rika Veneland top 10. Ahead of Felicia Zappa, Luisa Floro, Seth Smith Jr., Yuya Ishii, Amity Polstrix, Nero Takarasi, and Arashi Seto. The cars on the lead lap at the moment. 17 cars still on the lead lap. As we're going to go back racing once again here in Charlotte. Less than 30 laps to go here. Actually, on Speedway, when we go back racing, it'll be 29 to go. Leads the way. Go for Amara and Kurachenko. More racing to come tomorrow from the World Series in Mid-Ohio. Everyone here gets to watch as that goes on. Green flag flies. And we get back underway here in Charlotte. Milinkovic, another good restart. Red Bull ahead. Remember, Namada was the fastest car in this top 5. Now sitting behind Kurachenko. As they get back underway, look at Amara trying to make a pass to get around Milinkovic here. Peeks to the inside of Milinkovic, going in around and sends it in to the front of the field. Amara did not waste any time getting to the front of the field and left the Shreka Motorsports teammates second and third like they were standing still. Here comes Damata. And a really slow exit for Milinkovic, who may have a problem. Oh, there is a problem. A huge problem for Milinkovic, who's been clobbered into by Arashi Seto and Katrina Ochoa. And caution is out again. And that 30 car is not getting going again. Ochoa's race is officially over. Seto's is once again set backwards. Seto was last car on the lead lap, and now with even more damage. And that 30 car cannot get going. So if it wasn't clear before, it is clear even more so now. And Seto's received a black flag for that contact. Arashi Seto will receive a penalty for that, as Ochoa comes in and her race will officially be over. And Milinkovic trying to stay on the lead lap. Something happened here. No smoke or anything. Didn't seem like an engine issue. Noticing here, stuck in third gear. Yeah, stuck in third gear. This has to be a gearbox issue. Can't shift up or down, stuck in third. Yeah, gearbox just gives out on that 30 car. And that's unfortunate. Really close call there with Pulsatrix. And Seto just sends it and tags that 30 car. And around goes 27 as well. Rex Riley gets a piece of it as well. Sora Hoshino clobbers the curves and spins out, trying to avoid all the other cars spinning. It's unfortunate there, start to finish there. Gonna try to repair this car for Milinkovic. Ochoa officially out of this race, as we mentioned. And now it's Karina Amara, front of the field, ahead of Maria Damata and Isabel Espinoza. Another quick caution comes out here. Milinkovic getting back rolling. Still very wounded there in that 30 machine. So another pit stop incoming there for Milinkovic, trying to get that car rolling and just keep the car on the lead lap, mostly. I think is the gesture there. As the field comes around to take that all important caution lap, 6th caution of the race for Katerina Milinkovic, Katrina Ochoa, and Arashi Seto. So the back straightaway as Milinkovic drives her way around. Really good look down the back straightaway here, as Milinkovic will come back down and likely come back down pit lane. We'll step aside again under our 6th caution of the race and come back as we get ready to go back racing here in Charlotte. Welcome back, everyone, to the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte. We're here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, 6th caution of the race. Going on so far. We're glad you're with us here on ABN. Rolling through the infield here, 1 lap to green, and it looks like there's a car off center here. That is Chase Clark, indicating that there's some sort of issue in that number 9 machine. Sitting 4th place right now in line. What's going on there? Keisha Fox also indicating there might be a problem here. Not sure what's going on with these 2 cars running right now offline. Mostly I think the concerns with Chase Clark. I think Keisha Fox is sort of reacting to that. Karina Amar leads this race, the 4 car, ahead of Maria Damata, Isabel Espinoza. All 3 have led laps in this race. Them alongside with Katerina Malenkovic have led the most laps today. Chase Clark in 4th, now sitting below the white line, so definitely something wrong with that number 9 machine. Keisha Fox in 5th, set to inherit 4th though, with how things are looking. Aspasia Megalos then will inherit 5th if Clark does come down pit lane. 6th, Maria Chavez. 7th, Rika Venalainen. 8th, Felicia Zappa. 9th, Seth Smith Jr. And 10th will be Luisa Flores, the pole sitter, who has led 7 laps today as well. So he's going to try to come down pit lane. Keisha Fox is closing the gap in. So that is the belief. Had now 7 cars out of this race. Yumina Mizuno, the 23, out with an engine failure. It looks like there for the 23. Same with Katrina Ochoa, who had an accident that ended up forcing an oil leak there. So Ochoa out with an accident, Mizuno out with an engine failure. Valerie Fang out with an engine failure as well. Chase Clark, I think, getting ready to come down pit lane. Yep, ready to commit to that pit lane, as will Rika Venalainen. Green flag flies, and away we go. So Venalainen also relinquishes the top 10 position there. And that throws a lot of wrinkles in the plan, because there's Luisa Flores. There is Karina Sakurauchi side by side with Isabel Lantra. And Lantra moves up positions there. Not many. Lantra a lap down, but still valuable track position. And Venalainen out. Oh, suspension failure for Venalainen. Suspension failure for Rika Venalainen, forcing Venalainen out of this race. Something they detected coming up to the green, probably in tire warming. Feel those vibrations come in, figure out if you can fix it or not. Venalainen's race comes to an end. As we get back racing, Amara leads the way over Maria Damata. Starting lap 63 of 84. 22 laps to go. Keisha Fox in the mix, as is Isabel Espinoza. Aspasia Megalos in 5th, a little bit further behind. Trying to close in, as is Maria Chavez. Amara has yet to win a race this season. Same with Damata, Espinoza, Fox. All of them have yet to win a race this season. Megalos, the only one in the top 7, top 8, top 9, top 10 to win a race so far this season. To go all the way down, you look again at Malenkovic, who's now 13th in the running order. As someone who has won a race this season. A lot of those that were top of the running order have been affected by calamity in this race. Koivanemi enters points leader by 33 points. Koivanemi sitting right now in the 24th position, will take 23rd over from Rika Venalainen when she gets around after going a lap down here. Venalainen will end up in the 25th position. So Venalainen will gain 1 more spot, or not Venalainen, Koivanemi will gain 1 more spot. Lantra Obviously a lap down here. Launcher now the first car lap down in 17th position. Can't gain a lot more from that as things currently run. Jake Carter out of this race in 30th place. Katerina Malinkovic, we talked about her. She's in 13th at the moment as things currently run. Aspasia Megalos sitting top 5 at the moment, set to gain a decent amount here. Kira Moore will not gain anything at all. 32nd place, one of the first tournament of this race for a gearbox failure early on in this event. Nera Takarasi trying to gain as well. Takarasi right now sitting in the 10th spot, having gotten around Natalia Kurachenko for it. Maria Chavez, another driver trying to gain some points here, sitting 6th place right now. Felicia Zappa, and obviously Rika Venelainen top 10 in points going in. Felicia Zappa has still something to gain here. Zappa right now sitting in the 7th spot. Venelainen, though, retiring and being classified 25th, will have a pretty low ceiling for today in Charlotte before we head to Kentucky in 7 days' time. Karina Amara, though, leads the way. 20 laps to go here in Charlotte. It is Amara over D'Amata with Isabel Espinoza sitting in 3rd. Espinoza with most laps led so far at 17. Amara's now led 14 laps in this race. And these three have isolated themselves away from Megalos, who is now sitting in 4th, having gotten around Keisha Fox, as did Maria Chavez. Here comes the 50 of Felicia Zappa, looking at a chance to get into the top 6. And trying desperately to do so. Has the right lane. Going through turns 13 and 14 and approaching that last chicane. Remember that Game Bridge 45 of Isabel Lantra will not be a factor in this. And caution's out. Caution is out. See if we can discover why, and it might be related to the 72 of Rex Riley. See what happened here with the 72 car. See if our hunch is correct on this one. See the damage on the front wing already. This car's already been through a lot in this race. 7th caution of the race. This is Cody Vanami trying to get around Roberto Crown Jr. Both cars off the lead lap. This would have to be through the bus stop, you'd imagine. They all made it through cleanly. Oh, that's where it came from. That is... Oh, and that's where Riley got a piece of it. That was Dale Blanco and Nera Takarasi. Oh, and then Nia Vitsu gets a piece of it too. The bus stop being quite a tricky component to this track. Everyone trying to late brake and out-braking themselves going into that corner. 7th caution of the race here in Charlotte. Mostly just a 2-car incident there between the 56 of Dale Blanco, who's received a black flag for the contact on Nera Takarasi. Those two involved. Rex Riley slid in after the fact, as did Nia Vitsu. So puts us under neutralization and behind the pace car for the 7th time today with less than 20 laps to go. Hopefully this is the last time we get to do this. We'll send it to our local partners to have a word for our ABN stations around the world. This is the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte for the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte here on ABN. Race 9 of the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series season. Here from Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Going green with 14 laps to go into this lap. It is Karina Amara leading the way, 19 laps led for the Greek driver, trying to join her teammate Aspasio Megalos as winners in this season for Faceporia Motorsports. All three of Faceporia cars got pole positions this season, with Luisa Flores getting pole position for today's race. Flores sitting right now in the 11th spot. Mara in first ahead of Maria de Mata, Isabel Espinoza, Aspasio Megalos, the second of the Faceporia cars there, sitting in fourth. Then it's Maria Chavez, Felicia Zappa, Keisha Fox, Seth Smith Jr., Natalia Korachenko, and Emily Polstrix, your top 10 as things run. Luisa Flores, Katerina Milenkovic, Nera Takarasi, Jace Clark, Arashi Seto, and Yuya Ishii. The last car is running on the lead lap. Isabel Lontra a lap down, same with Karina Sakurauchi, Roberto Crown Jr., Sora Hoshino, Dale Blanco, who's got a black flag for causing the 7th caution of the race that we're under right now. Mia Vitsut, Rachel Koivanami, and Rex Riley, the last car running at the moment. Retirements include Rika Venäläinen, Katrina Ochoa, Yumina Mizuno, Valerie Fang, Asada Kito, Jake Carter, Sonia Walker, and Kira Moore. We've got racing tomorrow as well from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's the Honda Grand Prix of Ohio for the Champ Car World Series. We hope you join us for that race as well. Action begins 1 o'clock right here on ABN. Tomorrow's race, Hazel Leon had the pole position but suffered a 10-place grid penalty for an engine failure. It will be Natalia Vulicevic that'll lead the field to green tomorrow. That's gonna be a lot of fun, alongside Mia Valdez. Pretty wide open fight there in the World Series tomorrow. Green flag flies here from Charlotte. 7th restart of the race, and it's in the hands of Karina Amara, who got a really good jump on the field. Rolling through turns 1 and 2. Everyone gets through cleanly. See where everyone's at right now. A lot of cars wearing battle scars from this race so far. Mara, though, pretty well scot clear and in the free. That clean air, so critical here in Charlotte. To get to this point, in which case you do want to have some slipstream, and that's where Maria de Mata is at right now. Pit lane, that was Dale Blanco going down pit lane to serve that penalty. Looks pretty well in the clear at the moment. Really just waltzed away here from de Mata, who had an answer on that last restart. Really kept the gap close. Has not had an answer on this restart so far. Almost a gap already of a second. Mata in second place. It is Isabel Espinoza in third. 73 underway, 12 laps to go here in Charlotte. It's been a pretty long event here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The end is in sight though. And for Karina Amara, it's a chance to break through and grab a first career Champ Car victory. The first visit to Charlotte Motor Speedway in over 25 years. 27 years ago, if you want to be precise. All the way back in 1998. Isabel Espinoza sitting in third, ahead of Espacia Megalos, who's under threat from Maria Chavez. And there's Felicia Zappa as well, sitting right now in the 6th spot. Keisha Fox in 7th. That's Isabel Lantra 17th, a lap down, unable to really gain any more positions out of that unless someone falls out of this race. Seth Smith Jr. in 8th. 9th place for Natalia Kurachenko. Then it's Amity Polstrik's top 10 right now as things run, ahead of Luisa Floros. A lot of lap traffic there in the mix as well. Sakurauchi trying to get around Amity Polstrik's. Everyone being held up here in the infield. That was Polstrik's getting right around Kurachenko for 9th. Top 3 have really isolated themselves from the rest of the field. Meanwhile, still pretty well dicey here. Wow, that's a really good sin there for Takarasi, the 57. Veteran instinct there. Just getting around lap traffic for the most part. That security over Milenkovic. Really, the objective is to try to get a little bit closer to where Luisa Floros is at right now. Luisa Floros and Natalia Kurachenko, which she's closing in on, and the caution's out again. And we are not entirely sure as to why. And oh, we know why, Rex Riley. What has happened to the 72, who is now been stricken for the 3rd time in this race. Caution of the race. Figuring out what's happening here. This is behind everything we were looking at. So we'll see what happened to the 72. Onto the oval. This might be into the bus stop here, as Takarasi sent it in pretty hard and made it. Made it all stick. What happens to the 72? Oh, really interesting there. Just a huge checkup. Seto just clipping Riley, and Riley tagging the barrier there in the bus stop. That didn't seem like a terrible impact, but it will put the field under caution for the 8th time today. 10 laps to go right now. It's going to be a short shootout at the end of this one. Caution for hopefully the last time. We don't have a lot of laps left if we do go caution, so we'll step aside one more time for a word from our partners here on ABN. Welcome back, everyone, to Bank of America Grand Prix of Charlotte. Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series, race 9 of 20. Under caution for the 8th time. A very vicious race for a lot of cars. The most recent one, Rex Riley, involved in an incident. With Arashi Seto, Riley out of this race, now classified 24th. 23 cars still running in this race. 15 of them on the lead lap. Karina Amara, center of your screen, the race leader. Coming to 5 laps to go when we go green. Maria D'Amata in second, Isabel Espinosa third, Espacio Megalos in fourth, then it's Maria Chavez, Seth Smith Jr., Emily Polsatrix, Luisa Floros, Nera Takarasi, and Katerina Malinkovic currently in your top 10. Amara with the most laps led points guaranteed. 28 laps led in this race. The closest anyone else is right now is Isabel Espinosa with 17. Obviously coming to 5 laps to go. Can't make up that difference in laps led. 11 laps difference so far and set to be more. Coming around turns 13 and 14, approaching the restart zone. Almost showtime here for what could be the final restart of the race. Do we get the last 5 laps under green? We'll find out. Green flag flies once again here in Charlotte, and this time D'Amato was ready for it. But do they have an answer for the 4 of Karina Amara? Got through turns 1 and 2 clean. It's about if you have an answer for the 4. And if not, can Maria D'Amata hold on to second place ahead of Isabel Espinosa? A lot to cycle through in the last 5 laps of this race. Espinosa in third. Everyone driving in deep right now. They know what's at stake. Sora Hoshino trying to find a way around. That is Luisa Floros, not for position. Floros in the 8th spot. Hoshino right now in 18th. What can you gain here? Caution's out, and that will be the race, and this is why. Mia Vitsu, Felicia Zappa. Seems like others might be involved. Zappa comes down pit lane. Let's take a look at it. This is the restart lap, and this will be the end of the race. The race will end in a whimper. What gets us to this point, though? This is in the bus stop. Seems very straightforward here. This is just ahead. This is Blanco and Arashi Seto. These two have been trouble throughout the race. Is there a problem between these two? Oh, the 100% is. And separately, Vitsu tagged the 62 of Keisha Fox, which is why Fox was slow. To kibosh on things. Obviously, they return the field. Felicia Zappa will be last car on lead lap in 15th. You're looking at Mia Vitsu. Vitsu will be 22nd, last car on the 1 lap down list. Likewise, coming to 3 laps to go, I do believe this means that Karina Amara will be the race winner here in Charlotte. So the streak will continue here in the Grand Prix of Charlotte. 9 for 9. 9 different race winners in the season so far. Karina Amara adds her name to that list. Isabel Lantra won the season opener in Adelaide. Rika Venalainen then won in Phoenix. Rachel Koivanami won in Night City before Jake Carter got his win in Fontana. Katerina Milenkovic won after UEGE. UGE won Sonoma. Katerina Milenkovic won in Indianapolis before we got to see Aspasia Megalis win in New Hampshire. Karina Sakurauchi won obviously last weekend, and now Karina Amara gets to add her name to the list. 9 races in, 9 different winners, but it's going to be wild to see how this all plays out in the point standings. As we run along, Amara with the most laps led by far will end up ending this race. 34 laps left, which is a pretty wild situation to be in. Laps to go here in Charlotte. For Karina Amara in her first career win, it is the slowest crawl, 2 laps, that she's got to wait for. She'll end up with 34 laps led. Most laps led, 53 points. And a huge step in the right direction before we head back to another high-speed oval, Kentucky Speedway, next Saturday for a doubleheader there in Kentucky. That is the Quaker State 300 and the Toyota Dealers 300. Toyota Dealers 300 for the Challenger Series Saturday right here on ABN. World Series will be there next weekend as well. World Series will be there at Mid-Ohio tomorrow. Coverage begins 1 p.m. Eastern here on ABN. As I mentioned before, Hazel Young qualified pole position, but starts 11th. It is Natalia Velicevic and Mia Valdez that will lead the field to green in Ohio. To approach the white flag. We'll do that under caution. Car coming down pit lane. That is Milenkovic coming down pit lane. Could be a fuel situation for Milinkovic. Very possible. Milinkovic will drop out of the top 10 though as a result, down to the 15th position. So the lights on the pace car still ablaze on that Ford Raptor. We led around under formation. It's another 2 miles for O'Mara, separating her from her first career win in Champ Car competition and the second win in 3 races for the Greek-based Poria racing team. Collectively, that team's hit its stride. All 3 of its cars, Floros, O'Mara, Megalos, they've gotten pole positions this season. And now 2 of them have race wins. It'll be Karina O'Mara, Maria D'Amata, Isabel Espinoza, Espacia Megalos, Maria Chavez, Amity Pulsatrix, Luisa Floros, Nera Takarasi, Jace Clark, and Natalia Kurachenko, your top 10. Rashi Seto, Keisha Fox, Felicia Zappa, Seth Smith Jr., and Katerina Milinkovic will be the top 15 on the lead lap. Karina Sakurashi, best of those on the lap down list, ahead of Sora Hoshino, Dale Blanco, Roberta Crown, Yuki Ishii, Mia Vitsut, Isabel Lantra, Rachel Koivanemi, the last of those to finish ahead of a long list of retirements. Rex Riley, Rika Venalainen, Katrina Ochoa, Yumina Mizuno, Valerie Fang, Asada Kito, Jake Carter, Sonia Walker, and Kira Moore, the 32nd and final car classified in this race. Lots of news and lots to follow. We talked about the Champ Car season and everything going on. Tomorrow's race as well at Mid-Ohio. The Cup Series calendar unveiled for 2025. First 18 races of the season will be right here on ABN. Let's add another little highline or headline to that. Karina O'Mara will round the final corner behind the pace car. Top seat survey race at Charlotte sees a 9th winner of the season. Karina O'Mara wins here in Charlotte. Maria D'Amata on the podium alongside Isabel Espinoza. They are top 3 here in Concord. And the chaotic Grand Prix of Charlotte gets put to rest. Racing tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern here on ABN. It is the Champ Car World Series, the Honda Grand Prix of Ohio from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We hope you join us then. Watch Karina O'Mara in the field take that the final parade lap around. Back to pit lane. 9 yellows, 9 cautions for a combined 45 laps. Not the statistic you want to hear out of all of that. A lot to learn before the Champ Car World Series comes here later in the season. As the field cycles round here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Absolutely wild stuff here. We're glad you joined us. Congratulations to Karina O'Mara on becoming a Champ Car race winner. To see them all do it all again in 7 days' time, Saturday night, for the Toyota Dealers 300 at Kentucky Speedway. Again, join us tomorrow for the Honda Grand Prix of Ohio for the Champ Car World Series. And for those interested in watching the post-race highlights and the podium celebrations, join us on ABN Plus. This coverage continues there live just on ABN Plus. behalf of everyone here for Horizon Corporation and the Champ Car Challenger Series and Firestone, and everyone here at Avian Studios, thank you so much for joining us here at Charlotte. We'll see you next time around. See you tomorrow in Ohio. We'll see you next weekend in Kentucky. Until next time, so long, everybody.